What is up, Impact Heroes? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Rick Ornelas. Thank you for spending some time with us today because we know time's a valuable resource and we're going to make it worth your while. I appreciate each and every one of you, not just for listening, but for who you are. I know you're sparking change to make the world a better place every day, and I am humbled and grateful for your efforts. It takes all of us doing our part to spread positive change, and that's what this show is all about. Motivating you with stories of struggle, courage, and hope to empower you to make a difference in your life and the lives of others. Hey, hero community. We are looking to feature more amazing social impact heroes on our show, and I'll bet all you listeners out there know a few that deserve to be recognized. If you or anyone you know should be on our radar, then you absolutely have to nominate them to be an iSpark Change social impact hero. Just click the link in the show notes below to help us find out about more people that are doing great things. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we have the pleasure of speaking to our latest iSpark Change social impact hero, four-time best-selling author, top motivational speaker, and proud mother of two, Allison Liddle. Allison, welcome to the iSpark Change podcast.
Wow, thank you so much for having me. I am thrilled to be here, and I'm so excited about this podcast episode.
Well, thank you. So am I, because not only do we consider you a social impact hero for the iSpark Change podcast, but you are the original iSpark Change social impact hero that we had on our website and our marketing and everything. So you're the OG in a good way.
To me, it's crazy, and I'm so incredibly grateful. I'm so excited about the work that you're doing and just all of the change that's happening around the world to positively impact people. It's just amazing to me.
Well, thank you, Allison. I know you do great work, and we'll get to that here soon. But as just to dive right in, I mean, when I know in looking at your work that I see that you're someone that spreads positive change. You're someone that has a positive impact on humanity, and that's really kind of the only criteria that we have for a social impact hero. It's not too deep. It doesn't go too deep, but you're someone that cares, right? And you're someone that cares about making the world a better place, and so as a hero, okay, every hero has a story of who they are, where they came from, their origin story of how did they get to this point. So tell us a little bit about your personal origin story, Allison.
Well, I don't know how far back you want to go, but I can start really a pivotal moment in my life. It was in seventh grade. I was in track practice, and I was a terrible runner. Let's be honest. I hated running. I don't know why I was in track other than I liked the social aspect of being on a team. And I remember coming in last every single time that we would run in practice. And one day I was walking home from my track practice, and I was trying to figure out how I could maybe add value to the teammates on my team, because I knew that running wasn't a strength of mine. And I thought of something. I thought that, you know what, I'll be the encourager on the team. And I'm not going to tell anybody I'm doing this. I'm just going to show up and start encouraging the other teammates and lift them up and help them and just be that enthusiasm on the team. So the next day of practice, that's what I showed up and I did. And it was crazy because it started to really help the other teammates go further, right? And it helped me feel like I was contributing to the team. One day at track practice, we were running stairs. If anybody knows how bad it is to run stairs, it's terrible. And I was really wondering why the heck I was on this track team. But at the end of practice, I had the coach pull me aside, Mr. Gary, and he said, Allison, you are a leader. I had no clue what he was talking about, but I said, okay. And I took that as a badge of honor. Those 5 words changed my life. And actually now they're changing other people's lives because I took that and I believed him. You see, what Mr. Gary didn't know is that I was being raised by a single mom. My dad was an alcoholic for my entire life. He recently passed away from stage 4 cancer just a couple years ago. And I had never had anybody speak that into my life, right? To believe in me, to see something in me. And I made it my mission and my purpose in my life to become the leader that Mr. Gary saw in me and to help as many people believe in themselves as they possibly could. I wake up every single day looking for that next person. If it's just one person, that's fantastic. It might be the barista at the coffee shop. I don't care who it is, but I wake up with that mission because those 5 words changed my life. And I believe the words that we say to others can change their lives and transform them in ways that you never can imagine. And I think, that's really led me to where we are right now, where I have the privilege and the honor to help serve leaders all over the globe and build businesses and do all these amazing things that I never would have dreamed of. But it was all because I believed in that coach, and that coach believed in me and saw something in me that I couldn't even see for myself.
Yeah, that's incredible because I love that you have that true origin, that true story. You can go back to that one moment that those 5 words, that single point in time that did change the trajectory of your life. So tell me, as Allison, as you went beyond 7th grade track and you went beyond there, did you always gravitate towards that leadership role, towards
I
that
did.
position?
I did. It was leadership and it was communication, right? Like those were my strengths, those were my passions and my purposes. And now, I've added in business and author and all those fun things too. But I think the thing that kind of catapulted from that 7th grade is I started to really develop myself as a leader. And as we know, right, and the people that are listening, you need to develop yourself first. And so I have been on a mission since that moment to become the best version of myself that I possibly can, right? Like positive thinking wasn't in my realm of understanding when I started this journey.
Mhm.
Positive thinking was something that I needed to teach myself. I wake up every single day with routines in order to make sure that I'm becoming the most positive and enthusiastic person I know. And those things, those habits, those lessons that I've learned have really brought me to a place where I feel like I need to share it, right? Like I can't just keep it for myself. It was developing myself over the last 20 years that have brought me to this moment where I have the opportunity now to say, here's what I've learned, here's where I struggled, here's where I failed, and this is what I've learned in that process, and you can do it too. And I think the you can do it too is a really inspiring place to be, an empowering place to be when you can add value to the lives of others. And I never in a million years would have thought that it would have brought me here, right? That journey, those 5 words would have brought me to where I get to be right now. But I see it as my passion and my purpose to be able to add that value to other people because no matter who's listening right now, no matter what's happening in your life, you could be dealing with some of the most difficult, tragic things in your life. You have a choice to show up for yourself. And we all have that power inside of us. And I think that's the thing that inspires myself to get out of bed and to say, you know what, today's going to be a great day. Here's how I'm going to make it a great day, even if I'm struggling, even if I'm facing difficulties in my life.
Yeah, I think people, just hearing everything that you were just sharing, Allison, I think people will understand why you were the original iSpark Change hero, because you really embody what we talk about at iSpark Change. You embody that change has to start with you. It has to start from within first. And first you have to, work on yourself. And then after developing yourself, then the next, I guess, gifts that you have to share with others are what you've learned. If you think about the typical hero's journey, a hero, they go out and they overcome adversity and they learn some things along the way. And then it's their kind of their duty to come back and then bestow what they've learned upon others and share the riches that they've accumulated along the way. And you're definitely doing that
Yeah.
in all your work. So yeah, that it's pretty obvious to me. Hopefully others will see it as well.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I'm grateful for the privilege to be able to speak into the lives of others. I honestly hold it as a privilege, right? Because I feel like, if I'm not in alignment with who I am and what I'm doing, if I'm not trying to be the best version of myself, it's really difficult for me to speak into the lives of others. But I work every single day to overcome that adversity. Like even though I'm at this place where I'm able to do the work that I do, there are still hard things that come into my life, right? There are still difficult days and challenges that I have to overcome. And I think that's an important thing to recognize, that anybody that you're learning from, they're human, right? And they're
Mhm.
they're they're, they're on the journey, and they might be in dealing with things that you don't even know about. But when they can overcome a challenge, when they can learn from that and they can use that to help others, that's a beautiful thing. And I think, that's what inspires me about the work that you do, Rick, is just how much you've learned and how much you've grown and how much you've been able to share that story with the lives of others.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that, because I mean I work on the same kind of thing every day, just to help motivate and inspire others. So you mentioned something, Allison, that I think is really important for the listeners, because it's something that people see someone in an interview being interviewed on a podcast or on TV or something like that, and they think, oh yeah, they have their stuff together, their life is perfect and everything. So you talked about having challenges and having adversity. So talk about some of the challenges, some of the struggles that you've had that have you've had to overcome on that hero's journey.
Absolutely. I've had so many challenges and struggles. I mean, I was born, I had a hole in my heart. Didn't know that, right? Is that crazy? Like,
Wow.
I should probably be here, but we're good. And I'm in my hole in my heart got fixed somehow. I almost crashed, or I totaled a car when I was 16. I almost crashed in an airplane. I've had multiple cancer scares. Like I said, my dad was an alcoholic for his entire life, died of stage 4 lung cancer in bankruptcy. That was fun to clean up. I mean, there's been so many different challenges and obstacles that it almost makes me laugh now. Not in a, it just like, a lot of times what happens is we see people out there and we're like, well, their life must be super easy, right? Things just
Hmm.
must come like easy to them. And I can say honestly, for myself and my experience, I can't speak to other people's experiences, but for my experience, I have had a lot of challenges. I've had to overcome a lot of things, but what it's done in my life is it's built resilience, right? Like, I
Hmm.
know that I can get through the hard things. I know that I have the most brilliant, supportive, wonderful human beings surrounding me, and the best helpers are helping me go to that next level. I think it's a mindset of saying, you know what, life happens, but I can get through it and I'm strong enough to do that. And there was a time in my life when I didn't believe that I could get through things, right? Like, I didn't understand my own power. And for whoever's listening right now who's going through a challenge, it might be you lost a job, you're ending a relationship, you're trying to get it to be a healthier version of yourself. Maybe you had some sort of diagnosis that just like threw you off. Like, I completely understand all of those things. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. That kind of led me to all of the work I do right now, right? Like,
Hmm.
that helped me recognize life is so short. What are you waiting for, my dear friend? For whatever it is that you need to do, like, it's coming to you. That idea, that thought, that book, that podcast, the business, that new relationship, the health journey, whatever it is, it's coming to you for a reason, and you are the exact right person to do it. And I think that's what gets me up every day, because I'm like, God has placed me in this moment at this time to do this work for some reason, to help somebody. And sometimes it's maybe me, right? Maybe
Hmm.
all of the work that I'm doing is helping me become a better mom, to become a better version of myself so that I can help inspire somebody. You just never know. And I think, adversity, struggle. One of the things that I saw recently was, I think it's in China. It's somewhere, it might be Japan or China, some Asian country that over in Asia, if they have a broken bowl, they actually fill in the cracks with gold. So those
Hmm.
hard things, those struggles that we're going through, imagine that you are getting filled with gold. You're going to be stronger. You're going to come out more courageous. You're going to be braver. You're going to be a better version of yourself. You're going to be able to empathize and have compassion for people at a whole new level. And I believe some of the things that we go through in life make us even like better at understanding other people's struggles. Right. And I think
Yeah.
in that human experience, that's a really important thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think that resilience it's something that a lot of people struggle with that. And I know I've had different times in my life where, I wasn't as resilient as I'd like to be. And I know I've grown in my resilience over the years, and a lot of the adversity that you talk about, like when my sister took her own life or my father passed away or things like that, those really helped to develop the resilience. And I know for me it was a big part of it was I'm the youngest of five, but I was I have four older sisters, so I was always the only boy. And my father, same thing, alcoholic and, broken home and all that. But I always felt I had to be the leader. I always had to be like you were from a young age. I had to be the one to solve the problems and help everybody through those things. And that's what helped me develop resilience, over the years. So what really, aside from your coach, you know, knighting you as a leader, what was it that really helped to where you said, hey, I'm choosing to have that mindset of resilience. I'm not going to let these things, bring me down. Was there something there that led you to that, or was it over
Yes,
time, or what?
absolutely, 100%. So another guide came into my life, my mentor, Clifton Macklin, and I met in 2016. I was being certified by the John Maxwell team in speaking, training, coaching. I love John Maxwell. He's an amazing mentor to me. And I sat down next to this man who was just brilliant named Cliff. And Cliff and I just connected right away. He was this presidential looking African American man who had an interest in helping people, leadership development. He had an investment management company. So we connected on so many different levels. And we only talked for maybe 10 minutes during that conference, to be honest with you. And for whatever reason, he reached out to me on LinkedIn and he said, Allison, do you know your life's purpose and passion? And if not, I'll help you. And I was like, okay, no, I don't know, but I would love some help. And I said yes. And that started a relationship that transformed my life again, right? He was one of my greatest mentors. He believed in me more than I believed in myself. And he had two words that he would say all the time. Because to be honest with you, when I started that journey with him, I was in a place where I was trying to grow. And if any of you are growing, you understand it can be hard, right? You might feel stuck. You might have some limitations or limited thinking or beliefs that are getting in the way of your growth. And that's exactly where I was. Like, I did not think I was enough. I did not think that I could speak on stages. I didn't think anybody would read my books. I didn't think I could have a podcast. I had like all of these limited beliefs that were causing me not to move forward in my life. And what Cliff did is he taught me two words: keep going. I wrote a book called Keep Going, How to Create a Champion Mindset, because Cliff was a champion, right? He was a US world bodybuilding champion in his 70s. He was just like
Dang.
the best encourager. And I think, the thing that I learned the most from him is having that mindset of I'm going to keep going no matter what. And every single day I wake up and I tell myself to keep going, even if it's one tiny little minuscule step forward in my life or my business or in being a better parent or getting healthier, that's a step forward. And as we take those imperfect actions, we build momentum and then we can have a bigger impact.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure you're very grateful to Cliff, coming in and sharing that keep going, mantra, if you will, for yourself. So Allison, you mentioned purpose in there. And one of the things what we say, and as a social impact hero, is that the H is that a hero honors their purpose, and that's an important part of who they are and on a regular basis. So you've talked about a few different, components of who you are, but what would you say is your true purpose in life, your main purpose, if you have one?
Yeah. So my main purpose is to empower people to do more, be more, and have more in their lives. And so I do that through creating, obviously, businesses, creating events, having podcasts, creating content. I do those in different areas of life, but in the back of everything, the thing that I'm thinking about is how do I empower people? How do I make sure that they understand and learn about themselves in order to feel confident, to feel strong, and to feel brave in the decisions that they're making? So whether it's, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with their financial plan, or if they're going to come to one of my leadership development events or conferences or hire me as a keynote speaker, how can I be that person that by the time that they are done spending time with my business or in an event with me, that they leave feeling empowered and they know that I believe in them. And if I'm the only person in their life that says those words to them, that they can leave and say, well, Allison believes in me, even if, I don't really know her and she seems kind of kooky, she believes in me. So that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. We can be, as long as we're as long as we're out there doing good work, we can be as kooky as we want,
Right?
right? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
So, you know, one of the things I always talk about at iSpark Change is that our actions have a ripple effect that spread, far beyond the initial act. And you kind of talked about that early on when you were answering my first question. But so what's a if you could share an example of you want to empower the audience, or if you're at a program, you want to empower the audience, or every day you want to help people be more and do more. So share a story about a time where there was that ripple effect of your actions, kind of like Cliff with you, right? Because
Mhm.
Cliff, he imparted that wisdom on you to keep going, and then now the ripple effect of his actions, just by him reaching out and connecting with you on LinkedIn and everything, and helping believe in you when you necessarily didn't believe in yourself, has propelled you far beyond. So talk about how some of your work, for our listeners, because that's how they want to, I really want to show people how each of us can be a hero. Each day, everyone can be a hero. So talk about how, something you did, how it had a ripple effect with someone else.
I think the thing that comes to mind that just happened, maybe a couple weeks ago. I was helping a high school student. She was a senior, and she's a friend of a friend of my sister's. And I was talking to her about college or her plans after high school. And at first she said, "You know what? I'm not going to college." And she's like, "There's no way." And I said, "Well, I'll bring you on tours if you need support, because I love to go on college tours and I want to support you." And she's like, "Oh, no, I'm not going to do that." And a little bit later, she contacted me and she's like, "Hey, I want to go tour this technical college in our town. Would you come with me? Do these dates work for you?" And I said, "Yes, of course, I would love to." And we go and we meet in the parking lot of that technical college on that day at that time. And I can tell she's visibly like shaking. She's so afraid. And I'm like, "It's okay. We're going in together. No big deal. We're going to have fun. It's going to be fine." And so we go in there, we tour the college, and little by little, I see her confidence growing. She starts asking questions. She starts feeling more comfortable. She starts getting excited. And we get done with that tour, and she's all in. Like, she's already going there. She's already got the plan. She already knows what she's going to do. And at the end of of that tour, I'm like, what happened? She's like, "I'm coming here." And by the way, I need to go, and we need to tour the 4-year college too, because I'm going to become a teacher, and I'm going to help other students believe in themselves, and I'm going to have this classroom. And she just kept going, and we went and toured the 4-year college, and she was able to see that and loved it. Right. So we were sitting and having lunch after the tour, and she's like, I said, "What happened, Jenna? Like, what shifted in you? You went from, no, I'm not going to college, to having an entire career path laid out for yourself. And this happened within maybe 2 weeks." I'm like, "How did that happen?" And she's like, "This year I've been trying really hard at getting good grades, and I've been getting help and asking for help, and it's worked. And I can just see that I can do that in college too. And I want to help other students believe in themselves and see that they can learn and grow just like I did." And she's like, "It just helped that somebody saw that I could do it." Right. Because she didn't have people in her family that necessarily went to a 4-year university, just like I hadn't when I was looking at colleges. Right. And it
Mhm.
was just like something, I believe God brought us together at that moment so she could have support that she needed. And I could be excited for her. It energized me to see her so excited and so passionate about her path. And I think, that's just one example of just a little thing of stepping outside your comfort zone to try to help somebody. I don't typically do college tours. I've never done that with anybody other than like people in my family, but that was just an opportunity that presented itself. And I think, when we can show up in our lives and look for those opportunities to say, "Okay, hey, what do I need to do in order to help somebody right now? And who can I believe in?" I think that's, there's always an opportunity to help somebody. There's always an opportunity to speak into somebody's life. There's always an opportunity for us to show up.
Yeah, I think that's what sticks out the most is, it goes back to when you originally told her, because it's funny because originally you had told her, oh yeah, I love going on college tours, and then now then you say, I've never gone on a college tour, I don't, that's not something I would do. But just the attitude to have, that hey, you want to help her, your heart was open to helping her, and and that's that heart of service that we talk about a lot of iSpark Change, because for me, my purpose is love and give and serve. And so service is a big part of how I want to show up every day, and how I want to help people. And so very near and dear to my heart. And one thing we talk about is that um, any small action has the ripple effect, but that there's always an opportunity to help someone. There's always an opportunity to do something. And any day that you go out in the world, these opportunities are going to present themselves, and you can either ignore them and just go along your way, or you can take action like you did for the student. And you took action, and kind of like your coach, or Cliffy taking that step, there's that ripple effect that who knows what's going to happen in her life, right? The trajectory
Mhm.
of her life may have been altered, um, because you decided to go on tour with her. You decided to help her just out of the goodness of your heart. And I mean, that's a really special gift to give someone, Allison. And you may not, I mean, the way I'm sharing it now, you may not have thought of that when you did it. You may have just
No,
thought like,
well,
oh,
and
I'm
I
just going
think,
to help
I
her.
think that's the whole thing, right? Is like so many people have taken time and energy every day, right? Like people take time and energy to add value to my life, and I feel like it's my duty to look for opportunities to do that. So I see it as such a privilege to be able to help other people, to see the greatness in other people, to also take a moment for myself too, right? Like in that, a lot of times we want to give, but if we're not at full in our hearts, it's really hard for us to give. And so recognize,
Mhm.
there's times for us to kind of sit back and to refuel, and to think about what it is that we want to do. I have to tell you this little quote that my 101, she just passed away, Aunt Margaret, she taught me. She said, "Life is too short to sit around thinking about yourself." And she like just
Nice.
exuded that type of attitude. And I think, if you're having a hard day, take a moment and say, who could I text to just kind of encourage? Or what's one small action I could do? Write a handwritten thank you note, or go and buy coffee for somebody, or do something nice, and with no expectation of anything coming back. It's
Mhm.
beautiful what happens when you do those things.
Oh yeah, it's incredible, especially that last part, with no expectation of anything in return,
Hmm.
right? To be grateful, to be thankful, to be humble, to give something without ever thinking. And you'll
Hmm.
find that, you know, God, the universe, karma, whatever, that you end up paid back tenfold. I mean, first immediately in your heart for
Right.
the gratitude you feel, and the good feelings, um, but then it always comes back in some way. I mean,
Mhm.
always, and it seems like such a simple way to live life that so many people they don't they don't
Right.
they don't want to
Absolutely.
accept it. They reject that way.
Yeah.
Um, so one thing that does come to mind, because there are going to be, and I've encountered these types of people, and tell me if you have, there are going to be people that they don't want help. And as someone that is a coach, that is a leader, you want to help that person. You're like, oh, I know the answers. I can help them. I can, change the trajectory of their life, kind of thing. But they resist that. So share maybe someone that you tried to help and they just weren't having it, or just were resistant.
You know, I had I have somebody in my life, actually, in my personal life, who, you know, is pretty close to me, and I saw, that that person wasn't leading themselves the way that they could be leading themselves, right? Like I work on myself every single day intentionally, and I could see the greatness in that person, right? I saw their potential. And for whatever reason, they did not want my help, right? Like I would give suggestions, I would give books, I would try to hook them up with, personal trainers, like all the things, podcast episodes, quotes, I would, spirituality, all of the areas of life that you can think of, like where you need to lead yourself and you need to be intentional about that. I was trying to do it all. And what I recognize, and this is a big lesson for me because I am a fixer, I'm a helper, I want to make change happen, was that I could not control the outcome of that relationship. I could not fix that person, right? Every single person can improve their life. Every single person has greatness within them. I 100% believe that. Every single person has just beauty and grace and awesomeness inside of them. However, what I've been learning, and the lesson that I've been learning over and over again, is that unless that person is able and willing to receive your help, there's nothing you can do and you can't control it. And sometimes it's best to just let it go. And that's been an interesting lesson for me to learn, for someone who wants to empower people and wants to speak into the lives of everybody. Unfortunately, unless somebody is receptive to that, and unless somebody's willing to receive help, it's really difficult to help them, right? Like, I can become the best version of me. You can become the best version of you, Rick, but I can't make decisions in your life. Like, it's not my job. It's not something you need to take full responsibility for the decisions you make. I need to take full responsibility for the decisions I make. And that's one thing that I think is difficult on this journey, right? Is that we need to understand, ultimately, we can only control ourselves. We can't control our kids. We can't control our significant other. We can't control any single other person on this planet. I can control Allison. That's it. That's where my power lies. And the rest is, I'm leaving up to God, because it's not my place to try to change that. And that's been a lesson that, every single day I'm learning. Every single day I'm wrestling with, like, I wish I could change that person, but I can't.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that, because it sounds like it's someone close to you. And do you think that the law of familiarity, that law of familiarity, where it's just that they're too close, they're almost too close, that, I mean, I see this sometimes with my kids. For example, I mean, I have 3 daughters, and I think some of the things you were talking about, learning that you can't help, you learn those as a parent. You learn that, hey, you can't always, and in many ways as a parent, it's better for them to learn these things on their own. It's better for them to figure stuff out, and to not always help them and be that enabling parent and everything. But one thing I have learned with my kids is that law of familiarity, it's kind of a difficult thing, because, I'm just like you're a coach, you're an author, you're a leader, and then they won't listen to something. At least I've had this experience. Okay. And I'll use my kids as an example, although it's happened with people I've coached, or, others close to me. They won't take some advice, but then they see a TikTok with someone, saying the same thing. Like, ooh, look at this great quote. I'm like, I said that yesterday. Like, they might've gotten that off of my feed, but
oh my gosh,
but they
100%.
That.
Yes, that's exactly. You're like, have you heard anything I've said? No? Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Lovely. Awesome. Yeah. And I think that's the thing, is recognizing, where can I put my time and energy and effort, and where should I stop putting my time and energy and effort, right? And recognizing, what does your heart need? I think, a lot of times givers want to put time and energy and believe in everybody, and that's a fantastic thing. Absolutely love that. I want you to help people. I'm not saying that you can't, but when it gets to a point where you're giving so much and you're not receiving anything back, it's okay to pull back on that relationship and say, what do I need? How do I need to feel in this relationship? And reevaluate, what does it look like to have a healthy relationship? What does it look like to feel loved and cherished, and all of those amazing, beautiful feelings? Because relationships are just that. They're two-way streets. They're not one-way streets. And I think, it could be a friendship, it could be in your marriage, it could be in a business relationship, whatever it might be. But you really want to think about, okay, what does this look like? What do I need? Because especially, I'm a person that grew up with a lot of trauma in my life, right? I had a lot of things that I had to overcome. I've recognized that, I overly want to help, right? And that's a strength, but it can be something that hurts me if I don't recognize it. I need to put up boundaries. I need to recognize when I need to take a break. And I think we all need that in our lives in order for us to take care of our health and well-being and our spirituality, and loving ourselves and taking care of what's best for us. And that's what I'm learning on a daily basis right now.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure, Allison, because that's one of the reasons, I always say, I mean, I'm a coach, but I coach many people, but I have coaches myself, and I have mentors and coaches that I look to for their wisdom, and that help me and help guide me and that help support me, because as you're saying, everybody needs support. And it's tough to just, give, and you do have to place those boundaries,
Mhm.
because, there's only so much you can do as one individual. And so, that's one of the things with iSpark Change. Our goal is to impact 1 billion people over the next 5 years. And I probably told you that before. I mean,
Mhm.
maybe, but through our community and our work. And we're of no illusion that we can do that on our own. We know we need lots of people, lots of support, lots of social impact heroes, lots of people like yourself that are doing this work out there in the community.
Mhm.
Because most people, they're like me, like I was, I should say, where they feel that they're too small to make a difference, where they feel that their actions, you can, all the ripple effects they're just going to be, small. They're not going to have a big difference in the world. But what I found in the past couple of years is that the reality is that they do go far, far and wide, and that impact is essentially immeasurable, that it does continue on and on. Like, um, like you work for your whole life. It can impact someone for their entire life, like it did for you. So we value your opinion as a social impact hero. And so I'm going to ask you, this is something we ask everyone as we get to the end here of our show, is I want you to look into the iSpark Change crystal ball, and I want you to tell me, what can the world become if everyone believes that they can have an impact on the future? If everyone believes that they can cause a ripple effect, what kind of beautiful world can we create?
Mm. I believe that we'll feel more peace. I believe that we'll experience more love and joy. I believe that our environment will be taken care of, the animals, and just like, there's this whole ecosystem that will be impacted by our willingness to be open to that opportunity, right? If we could be more open to the opportunity of making the impact and understanding our power in doing that, it will change the world. It absolutely will. 100%. I know it. I believe it. I see it. It's already done, right? We're already there, Rick. We're already celebrating in 5 years that this impact has happened. And I'm so excited because it'll change lives. It'll change families. It'll change businesses, and it'll change how we interact, right? And I think, I've worked with people all over the globe in 70 plus countries. And the thing that I find that's common between anybody is that we want to feel valued. We want to feel loved and respected. And if we can do those things, right? If we can value people, we can help them feel loved, and we can have them be respected. What will happen is there'll be just a complete different world out there right now. I mean, think about it.
Mhm.
Think about if we can have those things go out into the world, it will make a difference. And it'll make a difference in how people show up in their lives and how people show up for themselves and for the people in their lives.
Yeah, and what a beautiful world that would be, right? What an
Absolutely.
incredible, amazing, beautiful world that would be. And the reason we like to end with that is because we want to really paint that picture for people to say, wow, like you said, it's already done, to visualize it and to manifest it, and to see that can happen, and then to go out there and start spreading some positive change, start causing those ripple effects, and start making it happen. Because I mean, I've committed to doing this until the day I die. I
Mhm.
figure I'm like halfway through life. Maybe I have another 50 years. Maybe I'll make it to 100.
Right.
And so I got another 50 years devoted to this, but I really want to see it in my lifetime. I really would love to, not work on all this, and never see that happen. And so I know with people like you, that it can become a reality. So thank you for being a social impact hero, Allison. And so where can people find out more about your work? Because I know they want to learn more about what you do and everything.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It's been such an honor. And to anybody who wants to connect with me, I am at AllisonLiddle.com. I'm sure that'll be in the show notes, AllisonLiddle.com. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, all of those things. Or, if you want to email my team at AllisonLiddle.com, let me know, what it is that you might need or how I might be able to serve you best.
All right. Well, thank you for taking time today, for sharing your heart and wisdom with our audience, Allison. And, ISC Heroes, just remember, it's the stories that connect us all. And we loved hearing Allison's today. So Allison truly is an iSpark Change social impact hero. Uh, thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next week. Remember, Impact Heroes, every positive action can be a spark moment that has a ripple effect that spreads far beyond the initial act. So go out there and spark change. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, then please smash that 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. We value your comments and we want to hear from you in the community. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and we'll see you next week on the iSpark Change podcast.